Hi Aquarius, welcome to your mid-September 2019 general tarot reading. It's Raina here. I had actually gotten through most of this reading and then I said Libra, and I was afraid because people, well actually I kind of said something else that made it seem that I had been thinking about Libra the whole time. And I just thought, well, I might as well do it over again. So the heart of the matter for this mid-month period is the Ace of Swords, which is seeing things as they really are. You know, cutting through illusion, if you will. And this implies that there is some kind of lying or other dishonesty going on behind your back, that it can be in the workplace or in a personal relationship. We have here in the past position the Five of Swords, which you can see just by the look on that person's face that it is a card of that kind of devious behavior, underhanded behavior that somebody is engaging in. Sometimes this can be like one person. You see there are people in the background with their swords dropped and he's taking, you know, some other swords. It can be like that classic narcissist who is wreaking havoc in the workplace and is, you know, generating a lot of negativity because he wants or she wants to get ahead even at other people's expense. And so if you're dealing with that sort of situation, you may find that, you know, that person will, you know, take any means necessary to get what they want. And that could include slander. That's one of the themes of the Five of Swords: gossip, slander, you know, because swords can relate to communication. So it can be really toxic communication, and there may be other people also involved. Just because the other people are in that reading, there could be multiple people, so like a co-worker situation. But I see, like, even in that scenario, there may be like a ringleader, if you will, who is really the one doing most of it. And yeah, so the higher message is the Six of Swords, which is about giving and receiving. This person is shown like giving, whatchamacallit, like charity to those in need. And that's one form of giving, because you have somebody who really needs something like material resources and another person who has an excess who can actually afford to do that. But in relationships, if there is one person who is always taking, who is like that beggar, but is always like trying to take from the other person, then there's an imbalance there. And in this particular depiction, the person is holding scales. So it is associated with somebody who is, you know, it is interesting in this particular case, like, why is that man holding the scales when he's the one giving to those who are in need? Maybe it's saying, look, I have so much and I can, you know, it's only fair that I kind of give to others. That's a way of making things more fair. But like, let's say you're in a relationship with somebody and, you know, ostensibly you're both supposed to come into the relationship as adults. So one person isn't supposed to be, you know, holding the other person up. And yet that can be, for some, just a common type of, what would you call that? Like a dynamic in the relationship. The other thing too is that the Six of Pentacles can be an inheritance issue. And this could be like a sibling. That Five of Swords could be a sibling who is like trying to take the spoils of this inheritance, and you don't feel it's fair. And I think that the higher message as the Six of Pentacles is not to be interpreted just as a straight up card, a normal card. You're supposed to, I feel that this card is supposed to be more of the spiritual lesson in this. And I would say, if you find yourself in that type of scenario, Aquarius, that you understand that you probably are already successful, and that these other people who are receiving this, let's say it's a parent who you feel was coerced or manipulated by one of your siblings, that person probably doesn't have a lot going on in their life, because normally people who are successful in their own right, or at least happy with their life, are not trying to do things like this. But I mean, there might be the rare occasion that a person makes a lot of money and they still, that's not enough for them. They still have to try to, get the lion's share of the inheritance. The thing is, it's like, are you going to lose your peace over it? Or are you going to frame it in a way where you can feel better about what is going on? And one of the things you can say to yourself is that, you don't need other people's money, that you are okay the way that you are. This can be with the Six of Pentacles. If you're in a personal relationship, it's talking about that give and take. I think I kind of didn't finish my thought because I was talking about that. Because the Five of Swords, that person that you're helping in the relationship may feel like bad about themselves, and they may be cheating, and they may tell the other person, this like false story about how you're doing this or you're doing that. And it's only because they feel inferior. Because I could certainly see with the Six of Pentacles that, let's say you're in a marriage or the equivalent type of relationship, a committed partnership, and you have a job and your partner is out of work, and they feel, and usually I'm not, this is in no way picking on men. I think that in a lot of cases, if the man is out of work, and if it's a woman who is paying for all the household expenses, it can be a little bit touchy for him, because his ego might feel like it's being threatened, with this kind of situation going on. And so what I would, and so sometimes people even cheat because they feel like they have to regain the power, and they may not even try to hide it. They may be trying to let you know that, or try to imply that you're not desirable, so that you feel once again like you are disempowered. Because when you are the one who is paying for everything, that's a form of power, and it makes the other person, it can make the other person feel disempowered. But that's on them, on how they're going to handle that. The answer isn't to cheat or to talk badly about you behind your back to try to kind of smear you and also accuse you of things you didn't do, maybe. What crosses you is the Queen of Pentacles. Queens can be mothers. And so I had made the point, that let's say this was a will of your father, and, you're going to the mother for comfort or for help, and she's of no help because she may be a narcissist herself, a covert narcissist. Covert narcs, they support the overt or malicious narcissist a lot of times, that they will not condemn them because it's like Stockholm syndrome or something. And so in those types of scenarios, you can't rely on anyone, even your own flesh and blood, to have your back. So you may realize that, and even if this is like exactly what's going on, it may remind you of in the past different times when these kinds of things happened, where you felt this sense of you could never go to your mother, that she would take your father's side, or just other things in life, that she just wasn't there for you. And that can actually be a good thing. Even though this is in a challenge position, it may be showing that there is this blockage or otherwise challenge, obstacle for you. But it doesn't mean that there isn't something good to be had from this. You may have been planning to have a child with this individual, and you realize now that you can't trust them, that they are too far gone, insecure, whatever, to deal with that. If this is work, I didn't say this. This could be like a coworker situation. And if this is, you're finding out how they're really, I mentioned like one particular person, but there can be flying monkeys. Those other people can be flying monkeys. And the interesting thing is that sometimes people try to go along to get along, not realizing that that narcissist is playing them too. A narcissist, one of the things that they always do is they try to make you feel like you're on the inside. You're the only one who really understands them, and they are so into you and what you are about. And really, it's all about them manipulating. And they just have this total way of manipulating that just is about their own, getting their needs met at the expense of others. And if you feel flattered that they are taking you into their confidence, you could be set up for manipulation yourself. The Queen of Pentacles is a card associated with home, and maybe feeling like if you're concerned about being able to afford a home because you're in this job, that maybe you realize you're not getting paid what the other people are getting paid, and you want fairness, and the spiritual message is that you deserve it. The advice of what's coming in is the Ten of Swords. In this context, I feel like you've already experienced betrayal in one form or the other. So it's not a revelation for you. This is simply the end, the 10 is the end of the cycle. It's you finally, reaching that you've hit bottom and that you only have up from here. And that with the and that card with the Ace of Swords allows you to truly move forward so that you're not spinning your wheels anymore, Aquarius. And remember that you are swords. So these cards are definitely in alignment with what you represent. But you may be feeling like there's a lot of drama lately. And that isn't something that you necessarily embrace at all. So you may be like, oh gosh, why does this have to happen? Why do I have to deal with these kinds of issues, And it's because perhaps you're not in the right place, you're not in the right relationship, and you're trying to fit yourself somewhere where it just doesn't fit. That if that's true, that's okay. You know what I mean? You'll figure it out. The important thing is to not, continue to feel like a victim, like you have been stabbed in the back, metaphorically, of course, because of somebody else's negative actions. I'm trying to show that Ten of Swords better. Because even though that may be 100% true, the important thing is to understand that knowledge is power. And you can, you know, move on with your life once you know for sure what is happening. The outcome is Knight of Cups. It seems like you may get an offer of some sort that perhaps puts your mind at ease, that you realize you can move on. Because and sometimes I feel like when people have these revelations of what's really going on, that's when everything opens up for them, and they start to get offers, you know, job offers, what have you, and all of a sudden they realize that their world was very small, and now they have broadened it. Maybe they were believing something that simply wasn't true, that there were limitations where none actually existed, and now there is a sense of expansion. The Knight of Cups can also be meeting your knight in shining armor, somebody who is very sensitive, excuse me, artistic. You can meet them in a setting where art takes place, a gallery, an open mic night, a poetry reading. And this person will give you a sense that they care, that they are, maybe that they're a good listener. Some of these people that, you know, the Five of Swords represents, they probably don't even listen half the time. But they're running around saying garbage about others that isn't true or is half true truths, and just spreading negativity wherever they go. And this is, the Knight of Cups is somebody who is tuned into you. But this can definitely be an offer of some sort. But it's coming from the heart. So it allows you to move forward in a way where you feel supported. Okay, Aquarius, that's what I have for you. I hope that you enjoyed this. If you'd like a private reading, the link is below this video. My website is rainamoonastrology.com. Take care. Bye.